Hello, this is Mustang from JuanSource.com. Today I'm going to be doing a video article on D season. We're going to be talking about how to take over the A bomb site, and mainly focusing on taking over lower A using nades and flashes effectively to gain access into the A site using lower, and also how to take over upper A after you've taken over lower. After that I'll be talking about holding the A site, also mainly focusing on holding lower and holding against any fast pushes or aggressive pushes or playing passive too. So let's go ahead and get started. Now on any main strat, you're usually going to have guys going underground, which is this area down here. It gives you access to the squeaky door, which is very important to pretty much any strat you want to run. You always want to send people through squeaky because it gives you straight access to mid and also to lower. Now when you're taking squeaky, you don't want to come out of squeaky all by yourself right off the bat. You want to give it some time because they could be pushed up and you want them to get into the correct position and give them time to screw up if they try to do anything around mid. Because you always want to have a guy on the ramp all the way over here too. Having a guy on the ramp here just waiting to pick mid and also watching this low rate is vital to holding any aggressive pushes by the CTs. So going back over to here to squeaky door. The best way to come out of here is not to come out like full force. You want to open it and side peek it, just quick peek it a little bit, see if there's a guy posted up there just waiting for you to come out, or once you open that door, if he just flashes out and tries to catch you off guard. Another good way to come out of here without having to fight anybody is having your guy over here on ramp simply flash over and get that lower A guy. As soon as that flash goes off, you can come right out of the squeaky door and gain access to that area. And also you can help him, your ramp guy, come out to mid too by spotting over here and seeing if there's anybody down on the ground or up close for him. Now before you ever want to take lower A, you want to jump across here and check to see if there's a guy all the way over here in the turnpike. See if there's a guy posted up there, because then you know it gives you a number count there of like who's watching what. And there could still be a guy close up, but we'll talk about how to get rid of that guy in a second here. But after you've grouped up and you decide you want to take the lower A from these guys, to clear this close corner here, because a lot of guys like to push up in a bucket and just play this area right here, and they'll just hold this angle, which is kind of hard to fight against, especially when even if you throw a flash, they can just turn and they'll miss the flash and they can counter very quickly and push out on you. So the best way to handle this is just to fake this guy out by using your smoke, and it gives you a smoke to clear out turnpike too. What I like to do is just come up here and throw a smoke, but as soon as I throw it, come around the corner with the smoke. Now it's a good idea to use this for smokes, flashes, and whatnot, and clearing corners, because it's a quick fake out. When somebody sees a smoke or a flash, you know, their initial reaction is just to be instantly turn, and that's when you want to catch them off guard right there. I use this all the time to catch people off guard. If I know there's somebody playing pretty close, I'll just toss the smoke here and come right out with it. And the off chance that the guy doesn't turn, I mean, I'm still in the same situation I would have been, but there's a good chance he's going to flinch or just turn his mouse just a little bit, just to give you that extra advantage coming around the corner to take him out. Now, don't use a flash, of course, to come around this corner, but use the smoke and get yourself in a bucket and let this smoke bloom up. You want to let this smoke bloom up fully. You don't want to wait. You don't want to come out too quickly, because an opper will usually stay posted up on a smoke until he can't fully see through it. So always let the smoke bloom, and then just give it a few seconds, and then you want to start just lurking in the smoke. You want to do this just trying to draw them out. see if anybody quick peeks and gives up their position at all. You're not really going to be spotted too well in here, and there's a good chance nobody's actually going to be spotting this, but they're going to be playing passive. They might quick peek it every once in a while, and that's what you're looking for. You want them to give up their position, and the clock is running for you, and you're right up on the site, so they're most likely either going to peek, just quick peek, or just stay all the way back in a huddle position. And if they're doing that, then you can gain access to the site pretty easily. If there's nothing going on in the site though, and you want to start taking that's when you want to start taking the pit from them. And to do this, it's we go back to the simple, just using your nades effectively to make them flinch again. Well, a good thing to do is, if you want to take over the pit, just lob a flash into the site when you're jumping into the pit, like this. So anybody up on the roof is going to see that flash before they see you jump out there. So they're initially going to turn their back, and you'll be able to mow them down pretty easily. And you'll also have the smoke here too for a little bit of cover. Now once you get down into the pit, they're most likely going to know about it. If they're not peeking, they're going to hear the footsteps. They're going to know about the flash. So it's a good idea to actually get the strat rolling once you get down here. You don't want to be sitting in the pit for too long and too exposed to anybody in Turnpike or into Upper A and anywhere else around there. And if you're also in the pit, then there's a good chance that you pretty much had the site, because if there's anybody posted up around like right here, this is a good box you want to spam when you're coming through lower. Just giving it a quick like 4 or 5 bullets, you'll be able to tell if there's a guy behind there or not, and clear that area really quickly. And also the site area is not the best spot for any CT to be playing, so I mean there's a good chance once you gain pit access you gain half the site, and the areas you most likely are going to be concerned about are Upper A or Turnpike and Turnpike. Also you have to worry about Spiral, but you'll have Upper A guys on this strat coming through here too, and usually any other strat where you're taking over A, you want to have guys coming through Upper. I'll be talking about how to properly take over this Upper A here in a little bit. But going back to Lower A here, once you gain actual pit control, this is when you can start taking over the rest of the site. And the main area you're going to want to focus on at first is Spiral and Turnpike. Now, since you're not usually going to be the only person coming through Lower A, you'll have somebody like an Opper or another AKer behind you, and he can help you with covering that Turnpike. And the Upper A, usually you might want to smoke off Turnpike, double smoke it off to give you about a good 15 seconds to take over the site and not have to worry about any Oppers in there. But once you actually take over the site, the first flashes you're going to want to be throwing are up into a Spiral area to help your Upper A guys come through here. And the last spot you're going to want to worry about is the actual Upper A. Usually you're going to want to have an Opper right around Bucket controlling the Upper A area and Turnpike. If you have a Turnpike double smoked off though, that'll give your Opper ample time to cover that Upper A while your other guys from Underground come out and take over Spiral. Now going back on this strat for an A take, taking over Upper A is actually very simple, but it all depends on taking over the lower A area first. In my opinion, that's the best way to get into A is taking Lower A first, and then taking out over Upper A, because taking over lower pushes them back into a passive setup where they either have to play Spiral or all the way back there in Upper A, and you already have half the site if you have guys coming out from underground taking over spiral, that's just going to push anybody in spiral out in the open, and you'll have guys in the pit ready to take those guys down. So taking over lower A on any A take is very vital, and using that squeaky door is very important. Now getting to actual taking over the upper A. The best ways to do this are just simply smoking off this area very quickly, and using that smoke again like a flinch tactic, you know, smoking it off and then just jumping across. So any rifler just is gonna peek back out of spiral real quickly, and he won't have the setup shot on you. He won't be posted and able to take you out instantly coming around this corner. If you use your smokes and flashes, you don't even have to use your flash at this point, but just using that smoke and acting as if it were a flash just to gain access to this area right here and to post up on him. Now once you do this, here's where your lower A guys and guys coming from mid are going to come into play with their flashes. You don't want to necessarily come out of here too fast. This smoke isn't going to cover you fully from any guys up into upper A, and also if they're coming out the turnpike, because they're going to be able to see your feet. So you're going to want to wait for flashes to take out spiral. Just wait for our lower A guy to flash the spiral, and you can jump out. This way you can avoid the guy in upper A being able to see your feet, and it gives you just that split second to, you know, not be ready for the spiral guy and to jump out and get right into his face. Whereas if you were just running across, then you might get shot from the upper A guy. But this way it plays it safe for both upper A and spiral. And once you take over spiral and you have lower A, the site is pretty much yours. The default plant spot is you always want to plant it right here at sandbags. It's a great spot to cover it from many angles, and you can fall back and play very passive in underground, or play very passive over here in bucket. And you don't have to peek it to kill the diffuser from the bucket area. Just shooting through the box can take him out. So it's always a good idea to plant that sandbag, because it also gives you full cover from turnpike and any other area. And planting anywhere else, you can easily get shot through the boxes. So best plant spot is definitely right here at sandbags. It's the best spot you can plant, so plant there. There's nothing more to it. Now that basically went over taking over A and lower A. One more thing to add for taking over lower A is when you're coming through here, it's a good idea to spam all the boxes especially when your smoke is up here. Spam these boxes here, and also like the sight boxes on the corners. There's a guy posted up like right behind this area right here, right behind the sight box. You can draw him out with that spam, or at least see if he's over there. What you're basically doing with this smoke here is just drawing out the CTs and trying to see how their setup is. So use that time that you had that smoke up very effectively, and you can find out where the CTs are playing and make it much easier on your team. So that's it for taking over the lower A area. I'm gonna go over to CT side and talk about holding against that and keeping them from coming out of that squeaky, and also coming from lower. Now holding A, you usually want to have two people holding it. Holding lower A aggressively really requires to have a mid support with an opper, in my opinion. Having somebody pick that mid so you don't have to worry about guys coming across, and have that mid guy constantly picking to give you support, so you don't have to worry about anybody coming across. You can just focus on the squeaky door And that's what you want to do to at least hold them back for the initial beginning of the round before you fall back. You don't necessarily have to play aggressive the whole time. Just make sure they know that you're you know, not letting them have this whole area without a fight. But playing aggressive here at lower A, it's not a good idea to peek out and try to pick off at any guys on the ramp. An opper and an AKer down there can easily take you out. It's a easy spot to just sit down there, and pretty much every team does it. So unless you have a good spawn or want to try to catch somebody off guard, you know, one round out of the game, you know, I would not peek this. It's taking a big risk unless you have mid support. If you have mid support and he starts shooting at guys coming out mid, and you know there's guys trying to take over the mid, that's when you can come out and attack these guys and work together with your opper in mid. You want to let that opper initiate the contact with the terrorists first, when they're in mid, and after he calls that, the best thing you can do is just lob a flash here and peek out into it. So that way any guy on the ramp that's still like posted, you know, waiting for you to come out lower A, has to fall back just for a split sec, and you can take out any way that's like trying to get across on you. You want to do this quick though, because usually teams, when they're taking over mid, they're going to try to take over squeaky too. So you want to beat them to the punch and take out one of their mid guys before anybody comes out that squeaky and tries to sandwich you over here at A. Now, if you were to ever peek out and get a kill on a mid guy, you're going to want to play it passive, play the numbers game on these guys. If you have the advantage, there's no reason to keep peeking out, and unless, of course, you think you can get another kill pretty easily. But if you got that kill and they're aware where you are, don't get cocky and go for another kill. Play the numbers game, fall back to the site. A good spot to play if you're falling back from lower A with a rifle is right here behind the site box, if you got a guy playing like spiral or pushed up in the underground. Or if you can also both double up spiral, which is pretty good. Having a guy underground, having a guy spiral, it's very unexpected if they try to take that upper A from you. Now, that's to hold against a mid push, but to hold against an actual squeaky push is also very similar. You're going to want to stay posted on the actual squeaky door, just like waiting for them to come out. You don't want to peek too much into it, and I wouldn't waste any flashes on these guys. Usually they'll probably flash out if they're coming out solo too. If that happens, just come back here and just counter flash them like that. You want to try to keep them in that squeaky door as long as possible. Let it be known that you're aggressive up here on them, and they'll have to use all their flashes just to take this area instead of having numerous flashes take over to take over the A site. So it's better to waste a lot of their nades first and foremost before you actually get back into the site. Now that's mainly for trying to hold lower A pretty aggressive. Playing the actual bucket area is good. If you want to play more passive, I would not suggest playing here because it's easily spammable, and if you peek out, you know, there's not much place for you to go. Playing the actual pit is a good idea because you have good cover, and you can control the peak. You know, they have to run into you or post up on you, one of the two, and usually you can get the first kill at least down in the pit. But to play even more passive setup with your team, if you're playing rifles, then playing like a guy spiral and a guy in upper A is also effective. Especially you want to switch it up a lot too. Don't play like super aggressive the whole game, but like switch it up. You know, play aggressive one round and passive the other. Try to adapt to what you think they're gonna do. Think ahead of them. If you have an opera though, of course the very best place to put him is Turnpike. He can watch the low ray, give you support there. Watch Spiral, get them support. So it's very, very effective to have an opera and the Turnpike. Usually this will be the mid rotator coming to Turnpike with an op. Mid becomes less important and once they're taking like upper A. Like if upper A needs help like really quickly, the mid guy can just get off mid real quick and come over to Turnpike and just opt that for just a little short bit. And after he's done, go back and watch the mid. Nobody will really come out of the mid too often, and if they do, they'll use flashes, so he'll be able to hear that. But don't stick around too long in Turnpike. To hold A, it's very effective. Have this opera here, but it's not always needed if you have strong rifles playing the Spiral area. Anyway, that'll be it for this video article. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a few things about taking and holding a site on the season. Thanks, and see you again next time.